There we are. We are good, folks. Welcome on back here this Monday afternoon. Great to see all of us here, July 28th. Kathleen, Roberto, Dave, Alan, Bill. Great to see all of our students and members back inside our live trading room. I think I'm done with the buzz cut here, right? This is a bad look. So, got my hat on, got my blue light blockers on, but Uday, great to see. Abdul, always great to have here, just joining us. Margaret and Grant, as always, as well. And all of us just here. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the thick of things, at least. I got to set my charting back to pre-market here, right? Because actually the stock that we're about to go over, it's still kind of hanging around near the highs, higher lows. It's still just holding support well. But the SMCI, at least, this is a really good push from earlier this morning. I saw this on my scanner. It was on my side list. I didn't take action on this, but a couple of our students did, though. And just from before, I saw like Roberto crush it on this stock. Brian was in and out of it, I think, from earlier. Roberto, you got like 38 cents a share. He was, took more of an afternoon trade. He got out at 59. So pretty good exit, at least for a quick little afternoon trade. It's, the dog days of summer. So take what you can get, right? Did this break higher? Even if it did, it was a head fake, right? Just it did right here, kept nibbling away. Just it didn't get the job done. It came back down now. So you know what? I'm going to put this back on our side list. And then if this wants to make one more move as we continue to go through this meeting, I'll let you know and we'll come back to it if we need to. But otherwise, if you're just joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works, just hopping right down below right there at Cyber Trading U. If you're new to our channel, new to our streams, socials, whatever it may be, just hit that follow or subscribe button there. But yeah, let's go right back to V-Wave, right? And I have some lines on this chart. Some of those were from our workshop that we just conducted earlier today. But some just before here where, look, if you're looking to see a higher high, you just want to make sure you can keep with higher lows. So it was holding support pretty well just before here, but a local lower low, you'd say about damn time, right? But this is where I want to point out, Fausto will be like the first to say it. He'll probably get even more like pissed or emphatic about it than me. The trend is your friend. Like, it doesn't serve you any purpose to try and short this stock, because if you were looking for it at 12, I guarantee you were very likely to look for it at 10 if you were watching it at that point. And I bet you were looking at it at 9 as a short, then 8 as a short, and 7 as a. It's like, we've done the song and dance before. And I know that myself because I've tried to play contrarian trader, and it's either death by 1,000 paper cuts where it's like tiny loss, tiny loss, tiny loss. Just keep bashing your head into the ground. Or it's a big ass loss and you forget to set your stop, or just blows right through it on a big move up. There's a lot more momentum moving this up than there is, at least even right now, as it's dragging back down a bit here. But just before, that's where I was saying, just inside our trading room, you just want to see like the flipping of resistance into support, right? So just before, that was kind of the game plan I was shouting out to our students. Just in the chat, where was it? Right here. Here we go. You see it pop up on the corner right of your screen. If you're Margaret, Kathleen, Joe, Ron, all of our members here, looking for VWAV to bounce from 880 to 9 as support. Otherwise, maybe it's a higher low from like a new iceberg order that could show up. Point being was that you're just looking for this to flip resistance into support. There you go. On the corner right, if you remember inside our trading room, you're exclusively kind of seeing that repost that I'm sharing with you there. Yeah, at least for right now, that'll take us down towards this 880 to 9 area. It was good resistance. I got back in on this trade over here off of 9. I got out on half my position at 10 on the nose, or 998. Then the second half was at like 1030 something here. Just, popped higher. Who cares? It was money I didn't have before I entered that trade to begin with. For the dog days of summer on a Monday, it's like, that's like a gift. So for as much as I even missed after the market opened, I was still able to grab a small piece of the pie after we finished up our live workshop just before, and still left some money on the table. Hey, that's not a complaint. That's just being a good trader, right? Made money. But now at this stage, let's see if we could have this flip back into support. And then if we don't get that flipping into support, then you got to be careful, because, for as low float as this stock is, for as much as we were, basically fearing there could be common stock offering news, direct stock offering news, that could happen still at any point of the day, folks. But the VWAP has not been tested really here as a working support yet. So if this really wants to crap out and just drop, wouldn't shock me if we get even the slice under, then back over VWAP here. Those are all ideas. Those are all thoughts and levels to look out for. You have to have your levels identified before you're even thinking about taking this trade or any trade for that matter. But it just goes to show if you're playing on something as volatile as this, up as much as this is, as low of a float as this is, I can keep going on and on, right? But that just shows that just goes to say, hey, we'll put this on our watch list here for the afternoon as I go through. If this stock just tanks right here, then we'll likely take it off our watch list. But VWAV, we'll put it on our list to start. Let's see what we got though here. We'll go from top to bottom right now. Otherwise, the super microcomputer trade we'll come back to if we need to. You just don't want a stock to end up looking like this, right? The vape trade. Thing you could just tell is crazy early in the morning. It was trending down, leading into the market open. Even though it's up percentage-wise, it was trending down off lower highs. So this wasn't really a good buying opportunity at first. Maybe if it were to break a higher high, and it tried to even here, like this maybe was a bit contentious. I wasn't looking at it here at this point. I wasn't calling it out, nothing of that. But maybe this could have been the thought behind it. If it were to flip into support, then break higher highs again. Listen, the LIDR trade did that before it eventually crapped out. Before this news came out of the direct stock offering, this actually was like holding lower highs. And I was telling one of our members, Carlos, I'm like, if this can make a higher high here, there's a chance. And boy, did this have a great run at first. After the first 5 minutes, built back up. That's kind of what you needed to see there on the vape trade. Just never got that, right? So eventually, wheels are going to fall off on this VWAV2, but I'm going to put this on our watch list for right now. Just still very strong with higher lows, and see if this can build back up again towards the recent local lows that it broke. I mean, these are local, I'd say. This is still kind of in line with the overall trend from earlier. But either way, it's going back up from this point, and I'll wait, or it drops, and I'm going to see if I can get resistance flipping. All right, if you hear any background noise from my side of things, if you hear any crazy noise going on right now, I was able to avoid it during Traders Talk. I can't avoid it now. Got all these tree people out there ripping a tree out. So PFSA, just going back to our watch list here, mid-afternoon, like around 1:15, nice breakout, higher high at the time. It's still kind of holding support. Still kind of holding support here a bit. So you know what? I'll definitely add it. PFSA, why not? Stock has a good order book, pretty good spread. However, though, it's probably low float, 1 million share float. So that explains kind of quick pops. And this quick drop, CREV. So the fact it's just dropped back down right now, we're passing, we're done. MPU. And all right, now we'll keep it kind of quick because most of these trades are kind of washed up and flat and just low volume. And, it doesn't pay to be speculative. Gotta say, that's where I even say on SRPT, I did not think that this would look to continue back up today of all days. Maybe at some point this week, maybe. Had a good last week after a big drop. So you figure, all right, some bad news came out. I didn't think it was worth the speculation at first. Let the stock prove itself to you. So, in fact, this thing ended up moving up pretty nicely today, didn't it? Broke a pretty good higher high at this point, just over 13 bucks, 13.10-ish. Flipped that beautifully into support. That's exactly what we're looking for here. And then now pushing up even further. So why not at this point? We'll see if this can break over 14, maybe make the move up to 15 after that. Yeah, this thing had a big drop back from the midway point of July. Failed to flip higher high here into a support, came back down. What price is this? 14.42. All right, so this would be an interesting level to look at as far as a chart level goes. I just said 15, just that's next dollar. But 14.42 support should flip into resistance again there. It's been a number of days since it even tested it. So definitely look for that price to be a resistance on the way back up. All right, so now we got 3 trades to work with. One we said we'll come back to, the SMCI. Omer, there we are, SMCI, speak of the devil. It's not so much the devil. It's actually been treating us pretty damn well, the SMCI. MJID, GDXG, geez. All right, so a lot of things are kind of low volume, low flow, just kind of washed up at this point. That's pretty much it that I see. Anything else looking good, folks? You let me know. Kathleen, Brad, Michael, Steve, all of our members just inside our live trading room. All right, hop over to the losers list here. See if there's anything looking just as good. Maybe I don't know if this is shortable. Hard to borrow. It is at the low of the day. Ooh, QS. All right, so not so surprising. This is back down. This had 12 straight green days in a row. We were counting by the day, so that's like a literal number. Moved up perfectly over that time. Eventually, had to figure wheels were going to fall off or see support build, take time to consolidate. But it looks like this thing just kept kind of breaking lower here. You do have a little support on the chart just from recent wicks around 1020, 1045. Yeah, I mean, it's worth the shot. If this wants to build back up from here off the 11 level, then unfortunately, then you probably won't get too much out of it. But it is a decent shot. Big selling pressure just kicked in here too. At least for now, we'll call it selling pressure, just since it broke below 11 bucks, 700 plus thousand shares of of red of selling volume there. So all right, I like that. BMNR, figure as much. This would come back down after the squeeze that it had back last month, or maybe I should say at the beginning of this month. Losing track of my days. Stock is hard to borrow, though. Can't short that one, though. Open? I can short this one. This thing's like really slow. But for as much as this pumped from last week, too, you knew that something like this would happen. And I mean it that way. Like it's very, straight to the point because, even for our longtime students that have been with us, just, we always talk about these like meme stocks and we're like, oh, we're going to, see another GameStop out there, right? Another GameStop. And just go back all of those years, right? Just look how fast that short squeeze was back in 2020, 2021. Did it move up day over day at points? Yes, but those were good day trading days. This is not a good swing trade. So over time, this thing just quickly crashed and burned. If you're kind of calling like open from last week, next GameStop, when it proves itself to us, if this wants to pop again off of good news in pre-market, go up 30% once more, then game on. But if it's not going to do any of that, then right back down. This is probably one of the biggest losers, probably within the whole market here, beyond meat. Just speaking of like those GameStop type of stocks, very high short interest. Maybe one day the stock will have its day in the sun, but don't hold your breath waiting for that to happen. SBET, same thing here. I think like some people are more bullish on SBET than they are on the BMNR, but that's, I guess, just what you feel between Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Both are dragging down today, at least. And this definitely failed to flip this back into a support over time. So, not really a great swing trade opportunity yet. Definitely broke down today. Oh, it actually is easy to borrow. That's nice. You know what? I'll put this on our list here just as an opportunity. You could day trade this as a short going into the close with another, drop here coming up. That would be nice. BTU, a little slow. Donut, another stock from last week. That was a short squeeze, like open. Big loser today. Rocket Lab, we had support at 44.59, I think, earlier. I was going over that extremely quick for a student in Traders Talk and just kind of holding over it now, but nothing more to it than that. So we'll pass. QBTS, it is down today. Let's check even on the swing chart because this is a really healthy swing trade, a really healthy chart to try and swing trade over time. In a worst case scenario, this definitely could try and refill the gap. It got pretty good far down here, pretty good way down to try and complete the gap fill and eventually bounced, but maybe it does that move back down again. Kind of worst case scenario move, at least I think. Otherwise, it did pull back down below prior resistance that we had here. So, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere right now, I'd say, in terms of the overall historical graph. I don't have like a giant desire need to put this on our main list. If you're really looking to short the quantum stocks, this wouldn't be a bad thought, but just kind of in the middle of nowhere there in the historical. All right, but for Kathleen, Michael, Grant, and Sharon, let me know if there's anything else you'd want me to look at here before we finish up, and certainly we will just jump to vape right away. All right, so just want to mention it just goes to like all of us, even if you're on YouTube and whatnot, but like myself and Fausto, we're not like licensed financial advisors. We're not CFAs. We can't tell you point blank, like buy, sell at a certain time or price. And I just say that, and I feel if you know that already, hey, I just got to cross my own T's here. But that's just where on the vape trade, yeah, it's up 530% still. Like, here's how we think of it, right? And it's just so going forward, you kind of avoid mistakes like this again in the future and you save yourself the hassle. But for everyone here inside our live trading room, hey, imagine one magical morning coming off a weekend. You're in this stock from like $8. Let's say if you're in the stock from like five, even you're underwater. Uh, or no, let's say if you're in from like 11 or 12 and you're underwater because it dropped. So you're in from here and then it drops and then you're underwater. Imagine waking up one glorious morning and your stock is up, 533%, if not that much more from pre-market. You'd want to sell. You'd want to take the money and run, right? It's the same exact line of thinking as the BMNR from like the other week. Imagine you went away on vacation and you were in this stock from like 20 and it gapped down and you were down like 50 plus percent. And then you go away on vacation, you come back and the stock is at like 56 or the stock's at 100 or whatever the hell. So, you'd just be more inclined to sell and take the money. So that's just kind of the logic here that we bring as far as, this vape stock. It's not surprising at all that this is dropping here. And it's, honestly resuming the trend that it had from early today. So that's the best advice that I could at least give you. And that goes to any one of these small cap stocks. Same thing with V Wave. This is going down to $4 at some point soon. May not be today. May not even be tomorrow, perhaps, but at some point, this thing's going down like Frazier. So that's just where we don't want to hold on to these stocks as a swing trade at the minimum. And then even throughout the course of the day, you just got to respect that trend. So, you know what? On the flip side, what if this stock did break below here and it's freaking tanking? Well, I still likely wouldn't be shorting it, but I wouldn't be buying it. You know what I mean? Because you got to make sure the stock plays nice by the direction and by the levels. So at least on the vape trade, the trend kind of off that initial squeeze at 5 in the morning was kind of downward after. And that's mainly what it's been going in since. Uday, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, just kind of made my day there. I appreciate what you just wrote. All right. Well, hey, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, all of us otherwise, down below at Cyber Trading You, just make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button down there. Let me know last call if there's anything else you'd want me to take a look at least. The PFSA. Just like that was perfect timing. Yeah, the PFSA trade. Yeah, this thing just totally crapped out. So we said we would come back to this and we put it on our list to actually start. Not so much. Not so much now. I think that we're done with the PFSA. The V-Wave trade still lingering here, so it stays on our list. What else did we have? I thought there was one more that we said we'd come back to. No? See, I lose track of my stocks now. All right, I'll check out Benzinga Pro before we call it a wrap, at least. ESPR, I'll go through a couple of these. Honestly, not a lot of these looking that great. The SMCI trade, right? Did we formally add this at least? We did not. This is the one we said we were going to come back to. So yeah, we're going to put SMCI on our main list again, see if it could re-break over 59, get up to 60. Otherwise, swing trades, HIM's kind of choppy today, still in that from Friday, looking for the gap fill up towards 65 or 64-ish, and I think that there's still a good shot for that to happen, but day by day we take that. The Weeble trade, Fausto and I both are in that one. He's, I think, averaged up even. He's definitely in that hard. But I'm in on that on a good size as well, and just kind of hanging around here. I'd rather see it get back up and above 16, by tonight, tomorrow. That'd be pretty nice to see. So we'll take that day by day as well. And on the NNE trade, this one does not have good volume at all. So we kind of stay away from this one compared to the others, because even when it's moving, it might have good direction, but the spread's even worse on this compared to like the $74 stock OKLO or, oh, it actually is $74. Yeah, I mean, even compared to OKLO, it has like thinner volume and it's half the price. So that's where I look to like kind of pick and choose battles there, but not really a good day trade for right now. The biggest tip with the afternoon, because there's a lot more to it. We go over this in class, but like where we start off on is gainers and losers lists, you want stocks to be near the highs for the gainers list or near the lows on the losers list. And you want to follow that direction, right? So even the V wave trade, is it going to come down towards my 8.80 to $9 by the afternoon? Hey, what if there's a giant buy order that pops up just out of nowhere, right? Well, I'll ask this: what happens when a giant sell order pops up out of nowhere? Right? Let's watch this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Let's see what happens here. Because we did have resistance at 12. That's not a surprise, but looks like this just popped up right here about 30 seconds ago, or maybe a minute ago at that. So as soon as that selling pressure just showed up, yeah, this might be due for this pullback now down towards like $8.89 pretty much. All right, folks, but I'll tell you, I think that was pretty much it, right? Nothing else that really stands out. Oh, I got one more. Got one more here. Maybe actually a couple more. NVIDIA first. We got to look at NVIDIA. Actually, I forgot to go over that very briefly. This is at the highs. So, yeah, NVIDIA at all-time highs. We got to add NVIDIA kind of on our main list now. And then the other one I did have, it's not looking like, it's a great swing chart. This MP trade is awesome as a swing trade. Just as like a day trade for this afternoon, there's better. That's all right. But definitely the NVIDIA. We will, just kind of slip that on our main watch list here by the end of it here. And that does it. All right. So again, if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., just be a friend, tell a friend. Look to follow us down below at CyberTradingU. But otherwise, we'll be back for you live tomorrow morning, bright and early tomorrow. Also, we got our podcasts this week. I know that Fausto is going to be on a couple of events himself this week. We have our usual Thursday event. Bell is asking, what is the other stock for NVIDIA? Oh, yeah, that's right. The NVDX. And actually, a good reminder, because you know what? That's within our price range, and we like that stock, or that ETF, rather. So we kind of tag the NVDX along with NVIDIA. All right, so I like our list here now at this point, folks, taking us into the close. We do have a couple familiar names on there, SMCI, NVIDIA. So it's not just the tiny, like, shiny objects in the room. I mean, NVIDIA is a shiny object. It's probably the most talked about shiny object in the entire market, especially with it running right here. So, it's just not the small cap stocks that we're focused on. We are, of course, focused on the larger cap stocks as well. But, hey, we'll be back on in just about 10, 12 minutes, folks, just at 3:05 Eastern. We'll be back on taking you into the close. Talk to you soon.